next speaker, that would be Mr. Ketan Deshpande, Founder, Chairman, CEO for Fuel. Giving a brief introduction for Mr. Ketan, he works in the domain of education and skill development. He has completed his MBA from Symbiosis International University and is a research fellow at Judge Business School, University of Cambridge, UK. Ketan is one of the youngest Ashoka Fellow and is currently on a mission to set up Fuel Skill, Tech and Entrepreneurship University in various states of India. For his work, he has received appreciation from President of India, the Champions of Change Award, from the Honorable Prime Minister of India. Please welcome him with a huge round of applause.
Video presentation. I think the two opening batsmen after the lunch have done such a good work for me to set the background that I will be able to speak about skills in India. Just I would like to have the video so then I can speak further. Yeah.
We are Fuel, France Union for Energizing Lives. A group of professionals working towards educating the underprivileged youth with a motto to uplift the weaker sections of our society. Implementing the corporate social responsibility projects across India, Fuel has a successful track record of providing career counseling, skill development and scholarships to 1 million students and youth, covering 3,500 plus schools and colleges across the country. Fuel helps students from the weaker section of the society to get equal opportunities to compete in today's world with quality education and skills to help the youth in becoming future ready.
I congratulate the entire Fuel team for the remarkable work done by them over the years. Since inception, Fuel has been the guiding light for the future of our youth. With their vision to empower youth and enable them to become the torch bearers of tomorrow.
Dear Ketan, dear Santosh, dear Mayuri and dear Fuel team, I'm glad to see that you have finally achieved the goal you have been working towards so many years, the building and inauguration of the Fuel Future Skills Institute. Having impacted over 1 million young people since inception, you are well on your way to reaching 10 million as well as further setting up the Fuel Skill Tech and Entrepreneurship University by 2025.
I would like to congratulate the Fuel team for taking up this important endeavor of launching the Fuel Future Skills Institute. I hope that through this endeavor you will be able to achieve the impact and the momentum that you envision. I also hope that through your efforts, you are able to contribute to the larger skilling movement to realize a future-ready workforce that is going to take India to the next level.
करियर गायडन्स अँड स्किल सेंटर प्रत्येक जिल्ह्यामध्ये त्या ठिकाणी झाले पाहिजेत. आज अनेक जिल्ह्यात आम्ही सुरू केलेले आहेत, पण फ्युएलनी जे मॉडेल तयार केलं ते उत्तम मॉडेल आहे आणि ते मॉडेल देखील जास्तीत जास्त ठिकाणी रेप्लिकेट करायचं काम हे आपण या ठिकाणी करू.
Fuel has also signed an MOU with Niti Aayog to work for the development of 117 aspirational districts of India, a dream envisioned by our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi. Our founder, Mr. Ketan Deshpande and Mr. Santosh Hurlikoppi from Fuel were also awarded as Champions of Change.
India needs future skills. All young people need to cultivate skills in future skills like artificial intelligence, IoT, big data, digital marketing.
Having worked for 10 years in the field of education and skill development and impacting 10 lakh youth and having partnership with Niti Aayog, AICTE and various apex bodies, now we are starting Future Skill Institute and University.
We at Fuel invite all the industry leaders, captains and all the students to be part of Fuel Future Skill Institute and university to make them available the dream jobs that look forward for future skills.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The reason I showed this film is because when you start speaking with authority, you should know where we are coming from. And as earlier speakers said, CSR is a domain which gets upgraded now more than Windows upgrade. And the rules and regulations are such that it keeps changing. But the journey of what I did at the age of 19, when I started this organization, Fuel, I didn't have any CSR in my mind, neither there was a law in place during that moment of time. But if social crusaders or social soldiers decide to have their own problem as a passion, what can happen is mind-blowing. And I appeal to all of you, you being the crusaders of the development sector, many of us will get the required support to solve the problem which we are trying to solve if our work and commitment is there. And with my fellow industry colleagues, social leaders and partners, I can share this with you, that it is not easy to acquire or get CSR funding. It is very difficult to convince someone, and in my last 15 years, I can say, the moment you meet them in conference, it's highly difficult you will get the funding on. So the tip for all of us, as our earlier panel discussion was saying, that let's go into the field and then see how you can get support for. And why I'm saying this is because of two reasons. One is, if you have the ability to solve the problem, you can really execute well. I think industries, corporate leaders, and members are going to support you. If you are solving the burning problem of theirs, they will come and support you. Under my experience of doing this through Fuel, I realized that now there are few companies who work with me to work for their workforce. So I'm training those young people in the futuristic skills which they need for, and they are also recruiting them back. When I gave them this confidence, many of them started coming to me, and now the work which I did as CSR as a pilot has become a full-fledged skilling university for the youth of India. And realizing the potential of the work, they not only supported me to do this in India, but also do it in other countries. So if you have the ability, and other countries, they don't have CSR obligation, they don't have mandatory spend, but if you do well, the work is there, the partnerships are there, then it can happen. So I saw the list of participants in this group. There are two sets of people. One, who are corporate leaders themselves, they practice philanthropy, corporate social responsibility, and the other side are the team members who require support from them. So if I divide these two people, what they are actually doing is, on one side we have youth who need jobs, and on the other side there are companies who need these young people. What do? We actually identify their strengths, weaknesses, give them skilling, make them employable, and give them back to the corporate so that they earn their livelihood and they get out of their poverty cycle. Similarly, if corporate leaders train the social crusaders of the organization, the match can be bridged. And that's what my previous veteran leader of CSR, Rishiji, was talking, that collaboration and partnerships will be the next key for our entire CSR fraternity. I've been working in this space, and I thought rather than giving a presentation about what I do, how I am the best, how I enable the youth people to give opportunities, what I should focus on, how as our country is doing for the skill development sector, and what are some of the challenges which we faced. One of the critical challenges we face these days is Young people have a lot of potential. They want to stand on their feet, but they lack platform. If we can give them platform, if we can provide them futuristic skills like artificial intelligence, big data, IoT in terms of engineering, in terms of vocational skilling, the skills required in the space of BFSI, in the space of whatever automobile industries, they can really go very deep in terms of employment. Generally, we all non-profit leaders are told you have to solve your problem. Because you represent the grassroots organization, you are supposed to solve all the problems of the nation. But my question to many of the leaders and all the audience is, where do we have talent in the non-profit sector? You are attempting to solve the largest problem of the nation by the leaders who themselves are underserved. So are we equipping, are we facilitating the capacity development of organizations? And through my experience, I would like to tell you, since I did my 15 years of work in the space, now few of their companies also outsource their entire CSR function to me, saying that you only manage it. We have seen you for the last 15 years, now you only manage the entire thing. We will support you in whatever way you can. But it's very difficult when you go to the other side of the corner. It is very difficult to identify the organizations and then implement the programs which are there. And one of the things which was highlighted today in the session was about the immediate government requirements. And I showed this video to show you that government collaboration is also demanded by corporates. Policy leaders and government leaders are being asked to inaugurate the program to gain the visibility of the program. When we go to them, the first question is asked to us, what did you do for us? What did you do in my town, my constituency? That's the time when the non-profit has to face the entire partnership and collaboration with government. So we have a tricky situation where we have to handle the government, where we have to handle the corporate leaders, and we have to manage with this entire crisis. To answer this, I have started doing a Skill Tech University. This is coming up in Pune. We did advocacy that why skilled universities are needed in our country, because we felt that if we can provide the degrees or diplomas as a formal education for the skill, the most rational value will come out from them. And we advocated this in the state governments, the large acres requirement of skill development, where you see a university means you should have 25 acres of land. It's not there now. In one of the states where I am implementing the program, the limit of the acres is reduced to square feet. What they are willing to do is, they are asking the corporate leaders or the development sector professionals to work on the skills that are needed for the industry. Rest all will support you with degrees. This budget also announced the digital university. So we are revamping the entire skill education system in a way that we can provide young students with jobs and opportunities. And what has been the reason why I'm focusing on this is, we can get 21st century skills, we can get industry 4.0 skills, we can focus on increasing the productivity and retention by doing this, and we can foster creativity and curiosity among them. When I started Fuel at the age of 19, I had an opportunity to meet Dr. Kalam sir, who inspired me to continue this organization. And he asked me a very fundamental question: how will you reach to so many young people in the country? And I said, I will try to reach. And then my reverse question was, how will I get more people to support me at such young age? And he said, if a person dies, he gets 4 people to carry his rituals. You are a young man, you can definitely get more than 4 people. And today I realize, in last 15 years of my work, I got so many corporate leaders, philanthropists, many social leaders who supported this journey, as a result of which I could reach to so many young people and help them to at least attempt to solve the problem. I don't claim that we solve all problems. We attempt to solve the problem. And one of the important reasons why futuristic skills are needed to be embedded in the curriculum, in the industry, is because there is no clear roadmap for a career where they do increase risk of dropouts, families are under financial stress. So all this results into creation of jobs for the youth. Finally, as I said, why skilling universities are need of the hour, the widening STEM skills gap. If you look at the world universities which are there, if you look at the best model of Germany, where they run DHBW cooperative universities, they work with the industry and make skill development happen. There is a gap between academia and careers. So what happened as a result of good implementation is these three things which I wish to share. One, at the CSR level, I got support where many of the corporate leaders said you should carry this function out so that knowledge developed. Second, the colleges and universities said you are doing best job by skilling young people in my college and institute, so do that job. And the third, the HR heads and the placement companies said you are doing best job, so give me the people, so I will hire them. So in short, what happened is if you do good work, you get all the outsourced work to you. But is that the actual attempt to do? We in a country where what was spoken today by Praveenji was saying 2% of the budget, what happens to the 98% of the budget? I think we can only do a pilot. We all social leaders can do a pilot. We have large organizations sitting here. We all did pilot, but who takes the final ownership? The government takes the final ownership to scale it. So we all can work as a pilot to enable it, but finally the government has to take the overall responsibility to scale it, because we don't have those many budgets to cover up those many young people and demographic dividend which we are talking about. So lastly, I wish to tell you about this theory of change which I did, and few tips for my young organizational friends as well as the social leaders. I think the first one is patience in this entire sector. Nobody gives you a carpet welcome or gives you and says, oh, come here and take a concept note and submit. So it is all patience. It takes a lot of time sometimes. So don't give up. The second tip which I wish to share is if the problem is large and your implementation is correct, you will get support, no matter how it is. And third is diversification of your support. That means we can't depend on one source to get our support going on. It could be community itself. Believe it or not, today 20% of my budget of my organization comes from alumni. Those who passed out from my program, they have stood on their own and they have gone back and sponsored another 10 kids. Say, bring them here into this organization, at least they will get employment. And for me, that was the biggest achievement which I faced, the alumni coming back, sponsoring someone and making it happen. So we invite industry leaders, captains and everybody to partner with us. This is the snapshot. I work with the schools, I work with the rural youth, I also work with the rural women to help them, to support them with futuristic skills. At the end, I would like to close upon Dr. Kalam sir's quote, learning gives creativity, creativity leads to thinking, thinking provides knowledge, and knowledge makes you great. So with all of this, what we are doing to solve the problems of our country, may God give all the courage and share all His blessings that are required to carve the future of India. Thank you very much for your patient hearing. Thank you.